contact is super messed up. There's a bug in here. I'm sorry. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Ariella and I make videos about medical school, lifestyle, and education. Today, I mentioned in a previous vlog that I wanted to talk a little bit about like eczema specific and dry skin specific skincare tips. If you didn't know, I was a dermatology tech and scribe for a year before starting medical school, so I know a lot of dermatology information, and it's definitely, skincare is one of my passions, so I really enjoy sharing this information with people. That being said, I'm only a medical student, I am not a medical professional, so if you feel like you're having a dermatological problem that you need help managing, please see either your primary care physician or make an appointment with your dermatologist. All of this information is general information about healthy skin, but if you feel like you're having a specific problem, this is not going to replace a visit with your doctor. With that disclaimer out of the way, these are my tips if you have dry skin, particularly in the winter. So a little bit about like my skincare history. I think I've touched on this before, but I definitely have the allergy, eczema, asthma trio, that like immunological trio that's classic for these kinds of conditions. In particular, I struggled with eczema a lot as a little kid. I remember my mom used to put cotton gloves on my hands because I would scratch them so badly, so she would put moisturizer on my hands and then put the glove over top, and I remember that being the most horrible sensation in the whole world, and I was like, why is she doing this to me? But it helped a lot. So I had a lot of eczema, particularly on my hands and then like in the on the insides of my elbows, and that's typically where you get your eczema. I think it's on your flexor surfaces, so like inside the elbows or on the backs of the knees. As I've gotten older, my eczema has definitely toned down a lot, and I basically didn't have it at all when I was in college, but last year when I moved to the Vermont, New Hampshire area, it was very cold there all the time, and so every time I stepped outside, my face would get blasted with cold air, and that actually brought my eczema back, in addition to using a nightly acne medication called tretinoin. That is another thing that would cause my eczema flares. And yeah, I've kind of been having them regularly ever since, especially in the winter. Only on my face though, not really on my arms anymore. So I just want to share a little bit about what I do. By no means is my eczema extremely severe. In fact, I would say it's really just a mild annoyance to me, but I know that a lot of people struggle very hard with eczema and it can be really debilitating, so I want to give you like as many tips that you can use as possible, and then like I said, please see your physician if it's interfering with your everyday life. So the first thing that I would recommend you start if you are struggling with eczema or dry skin in the winter is to get on a very strict moisturizing routine. So a lot of people come into the dermatologist's office and they say that they have dry skin because they work in healthcare and they're washing their hands all the time, and one of the questions that the provider will ask them is like, well, how often are you moisturizing? And a lot of the patients who come in don't use moisturizer at all. And moisturizer is such a good tool to fight eczema and dry skin. My recommendation would be to moisturize your entire body after every single shower. So we're going to talk a little bit about the shower situation specifically because how you take your showers may determine how severe your skin condition becomes, or it might worsen your skin condition or make it better. So avoid extremely hot water. You want to use lukewarm water in the shower because hot water is actually going to draw moisture out of your skin and leave you feeling irritated. I know that seems kind of counterintuitive because you think, oh, like it's hot but it's still water, so my skin is still getting moisturized, but the hot water can actually irritate you and make you drier. So you've done your lukewarm shower, and then after you take your shower, you want to moisturize immediately because your pores are open, and if you moisturize right after your shower, it's going to lock in that moisture for the rest of the day or the rest of the night whenever you shower. That's definitely the best time to moisturize your whole body, but you can also moisturize throughout the day as needed. Like, a lot of people will keep a small moisturizer and use it on their hands if their hands get dry. I personally keep a moisturizer with me in my backpack, and I put it on my face because, as I showed you before, I struggle right here with eczema, and it's especially affecting like my skin texture, so I want to get it under control. The next tip is to use plain product. So the plainer the moisturizer you're using is, the better off you're going to be. And plain doesn't necessarily mean natural. So there's this common misconception that natural things are always better. And while it's true that some people prefer to use natural products over synthetic products, something that I like to tell people is poison ivy is still natural, but you wouldn't rub that on your skin. Natural doesn't always mean better. I would recommend avoiding things with fragrance because anything with fragrance is going to have added chemicals that are going to irritate your skin, and fragranced products are usually not very eczema friendly. Also, check your products for non-comedogenic. That means they don't cause acne. Usually that means the product will be a little bit gentler, but if you struggle with acne like I do, that's an added bonus. Anytime you're gonna put something on like a large area of your skin, you wanna do a small patch test first. So before I put anything particularly on my face where I'm most sensitive, I will just do a patch test on my wrist. I will apply the product like 3 times a day for 3 days and see how my skin reacts. And if I have no reaction, then I'll go ahead and put it on my face. That's just kind of a helpful tip if you have sensitive skin in general. So my favorite plain moisturizer that I've talked about in the past is Vanicream. In general, Vanicream is my favorite line of non-irritating skin products because they have very simple ingredients and they will keep you very well moisturized. In the winter, I will always use the Vanicream cream on my face once a day. I might use it more often if I feel like my face is just getting extremely dry, but at the same time as having eczema, I also struggle with oily skin and acne, so it's kind of a balance between those two things and what is the lesser of those two evils. For me, acne isn't a huge problem, so I err on the side of moisturizing because I want to maintain a healthy skin barrier. But if I feel like my skin is too oily, I can switch to the Vanicream Light Lotion, which is something that I really like to use in the summer as well because it's a lot lighter, it's not as heavy, and when it's, humid outside and you don't need a really thick moisturizer, that's a nice option. Vanicream also has a line called Free and Clear. It's their shampoo line, and I think they have a shampoo and a conditioner. So if you're really struggling with fragranced shampoos and things running either like on your scalp or on your face and irritating you, something that people don't think about a lot is the fact that their shampoo might be the thing that's causing the problem if they have extremely sensitive skin. So it's good to know that Vanicream has something out there that's, it's not glamorous, it's not like fancy shampoo, but it'll get the job done and it is fragrance free. Back to the acne thing, this is something that you definitely need to manage with your primary care physician or your dermatologist. It can be difficult to balance eczema and acne because a lot of the things that you would do for each problem negate each other. So for my eczema, I want to make sure that my skin is really moisturized and really well hydrated, but that could potentially cause acne if I'm not careful. And if I'm treating acne, those products tend to be drying, which is going to irritate my eczema. So my recommendations would be to avoid drying acne products, and if you can't avoid that and you need to use them, I would start with a low strength. And if the low strength is still irritating to you, you can buy some of that Vanicream lotion or cream, whatever you prefer, and actually mix your acne products with that lotion. Again, do under the recommendations of your doctor, but adding a little bit of plain moisturizer will dilute the strength of that acne medication and you can build up your tolerance, especially with retinol-based products like tretinoin or adapalene. Those you tend to build up a tolerance to. So I will often, if I'm really irritated, just lower the strength using my Vanicream cream and then build it up as it gets warmer and my skin is less dry. Obviously, this goes without saying, but you can also decrease your usage of your acne products, but not completely stop. So instead of using tretinoin every night, maybe you use it every other night. If you're using a cleanser, particularly for acne, you should make sure that you're using a gentle cleanser. A lot of brands will have a gentle cleanser for dry skin and then a normal to oily skin cleanser. And I definitely recommend starting with the gentle cleanser, even if you have oily skin, because if you're using acne products on top of that, you might accidentally make your skin too dry and cause some irritation. Just this past weekend when I was at my boyfriend's apartment, he only had the normal to oily skin cleanser, and that was another contributing factor to the fact that I was having a more intense eczema flare on my face because I was using that cleanser and my skin wasn't used to it. Basically, the bottom line there is oily cleansers are designed to dry out your skin. So if you're struggling with dry skin, try to avoid them, even if you have acne. I mentioned this in my last video too, but if you are outside a lot and it's really windy, you're getting windburn and irritation, you can just take some Vaseline and apply it onto your skin as a barrier so it completely blocks the wind from getting out. And then also Vaseline is a great emollient. I need to double check this, but I think it's an emollient, and that means it blocks moisture from getting out. So ideally, you would put on your moisturizer like your Vanicream, or I use the Neutrogena Hydrogel that I like, and then put Vaseline on top of that, and that will block the moisture that you've just added from getting out, which is nice. I personally use Vaseline, especially if I'm going skiing and I know I'm going to be flying down a mountain, and the wind that's created from that can give you windburn, so I use that to help with that. So my last skin tip for dry skin and eczema is to use a mineral-based sunscreen. So you don't want to stop your sunscreen regimen unless your dermatologist tells you to, because having healthy skin overall is super important. Chemical sunscreens can be very irritating, so that's going to be something like an oxybenzone, and typically people will recommend either a titanium or zinc-based mineral sunscreen if you have sensitive skin. They tend to be less irritating, and unfortunately they can be a little bit pasty, but if you have extremely sensitive skin, that's not really something that you can avoid. That's why I like the Elta line. They add a hyaluronic acid moisturizer to their sunscreen, which is awesome, but if you're so sensitive that you can't even use that and it's causing irritation, I know that Vanicream has a very extremely plain mineral-based sunscreen. I would recommend continuing to use your sunscreen just because it's going to protect your skin and increase the longevity of your skin overall. My foot is completely numb. Oh my god. I've been sitting on it. So those are my tips for taking care of eczema-prone dry skin. Let me know if there was something that you guys learned from this video, or did you know all this information already? I was always surprised by the number of people who came into our office and, mentioned that they were not moisturizing, and after they started a regular moisturizing routine, seeing that specific change caused like a world of difference in their skin health, and I always thought that was really cool. So let me know if you learned anything, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see from me next, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.